Fight me.
When I was in the 7th grade, the biggest challenge was getting on the right school bus. But Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh has one local 13-year-old already thinking about college football.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Isaiah Marshall is a 13-year-old 7th grader.
Yeah, and see, that's what the problem was.
Exactly. That is exactly what the problem was. Man, I love that clip. Look, what had happened was Jim Harbaugh watched a little film of a quarterback in MacArthur Academy in Southfield, Michigan. Quarterback, Isaiah Marshall, as you heard, has all the tools. I watched the tape. The kid can play. And then Harbaugh says, hey, I like this kid. Let me talk to his dad. Dad happened to be one of the coaches of the team. Gave him a phone call. I said, I would like to offer your 13-year-old 7th grader a scholarship to the University of Michigan to be a Michigan man. Yo, bro, Isaiah Marshall is class of 2024. Okay? Last segment, I was just talking about youngins at 2021. 13 is 13. 13 is what we're offering major college football. I mean, okay, I guess Harbaugh did it for the same reasons that you do almost anything, is to make news, to make headlines. Becoming the first Power 5 football team to offer a 7th grader, so we think, who knows, Barry Switzer era, I'm not exactly sure. I wouldn't put it past Switzer to offer a 3-year-old if he thought the dude could play. I wouldn't put it past him. That's how you want players. You need players. We're trying to get them out. We're trying to out-recruit everybody. Problem with this, I think, it is that it underscores this arms race that is getting out of control. That we're offering kids this early means that Isaiah Marshall has this pressure on him for the next 5 years of his life. No matter how he develops, would he still be a quarterback by the time he graduated? Who knows? If he was recruited by someone else and he is an in-state offer, what happens if he decides that he wants to go to Ohio State? I don't think that would go over well, especially seeing as Khakis offered him as a 13-year-old and was the first guy to extend an offer. But is that offer committable? That was what I would like to know. I would like to know if the 13-year-old received the offer and the 13-year-old and his parents said, cool, we're committed. Is Harbaugh going to accept that commitment? You know, we're going to talk about this a bit in segment 3 about the committable offer and what that all means. But it also means that you put some market value on a 13-year-old. And please believe a scholarship is assigning value to an individual. Tuition and fees at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, run $16,000 a year, give or take, if you're in-state, and $51,000 in change if you're out of state, which means that you assign this kid a value of about $16 grand. Knowing that the publicity and exposure from just extending him the offer is probably worth that and more, especially as he continues to develop, and by all accounts and looking at his game, he will. And now I'm going to get into my soapbox, which is pay the kids. Now, I'm not saying you got to pay recruits, but I wouldn't be against it if we found a way. I want to see people rewarded for their labor. And if they happen to be able to do the job at a very early age, they should be compensated at a very early age. We see this system work notably in European soccer, where we have academy systems, raise up pups. Sometimes they end up with a big club. Most of the time they end up playing for somebody else professionally. And there's a system in place that takes care of them. You can also learn a trade or end up with some manner of a vocational skill if that's what you want to do while you're in the academy. In the United States, we ain't got nothing like that. In the United States, we got lottery tickets. I call them lottery tickets because that's what it means to get a scholarship offer to play football. You hit the lottery, and now you're trying to hit the lottery once more to get into the league. And when we're talking about the top recruits in the country, for which you can reference the Rivals 250 if you want to, you can reference the ESPN 300 if you want to, you can reference the 24/7 composite. The point is, each one of those kids that is ranked highly with 4 or 5 stars next to their name is being slated as the future of the NFL. That's what 5-star means. It means that you are expected to go early, to leave school early, 3 years in as soon as you are eligible, and be drafted in the first round, because that is the projection of your talent. Now, whether or not you develop, we all know how that looks. We can all name 5-star talents that did not end up going in the first round. But the fact of the matter is, the universities still get quite a bit. They get the player that they want. They get one of the most talented football players in the entire country. And they get 3 years of that dude in their jerseys, in their gear, on TV, repping them. And yes, there are things for which you sign away your life, your likeness. You don't get to profit on any of that. That's all on the school. That's all on the athletic department. I don't necessarily think that's cool, man. I wouldn't like it. You wouldn't like it. Why should we make the kids like it? And like I said, assigning the market value to them is exactly what you're doing. You're saying you're worth this amount of money to us every year because that's what it costs to go to school there. When we all know that 1 year of Kyler Murray is worth 7 figures, okay? Period. To the University of Oklahoma. 1 year of Cam Newton at Auburn is also worth 7 figures, especially knowing that Cam Newton not only won the Heisman Trophy and is probably one of the best college football players of all time, but also won Auburn a national championship. And then you get to say that an alumnus, I think he graduated. I'm pretty sure he graduated. Well, a guy that played at Auburn University won the NFL MVP and took his team to a 15-1 season and played in a Super Bowl. That is worth its weight in gold. And last time I checked, Cam Newton is not a small human being. He is 260 pounds, 6'5", of awesome, of almighty, for which folks were paying whatever they needed to pay to watch him play football. And now that Isaiah Marshall is being considered one of the best 7th graders in the country, yeah, that's worth something to Michigan. It's also worth something to the team that he's playing on because he plays on a travel football team that goes around, plays the best in the country, and they compete for titles. I'm not necessarily convinced that this should go on. And if the NCAA can do anything about it, yeah, stop coaches from offering kids before their junior year, if that's what you want to do. But the problem with that is we know that that probably ain't going to happen. You can continue to kick the can down the road, and we can make jokes about Lane Kiffin offering a kid who's still in the womb, which he did as a joke. And we can also make jokes about the guys that we knew that had offers in 5th grade because they were so good. But that you only get to play this game for a limited amount of time. That you only get to play this game as long as you are good. I don't think we give enough credit to. I don't think we underscore that enough. I don't think we underscore that this lottery ticket actually means winning the Powerball. Because the average salary of an NFL player last year is $2.1 million. Now, there are guys that are making way more than that, and there are guys that are making way less than that. But if that's the average, and you turn out to be an average NFL player, yeah, you're a millionaire twice over, and then some. I think the money makes people itchy. It makes people mad. They're going to come into the comments of a YouTube video that I make or on Twitter or call into the show and say, hey, man, I don't want to hear you talk about money. Well, then you don't want to hear me talk about sports, okay? This is something that you pay money for. Season tickets cost an arm and a leg. But some of y'all are willing to pay it because it's worth that to you. And it's worth that to you because the University of Oklahoma's football program is awesome. Now, we're going to get into more about recruiting and the committable offer coming out of the next break. Before we go into it, kidfolk, I got to tell you about the presenting sponsor of my show, Fight Me with RJ Young, American Putter Company, where they make custom putters and custom head covers, which is awesome. All right? I got this really awesome Molin Labe slicked out CV's Pactum Parabellum Spartan S putter coming. It's going to be my Zephos, which is short sword. Stay woke, fam. And you can go there and you can get literally anything you can think of made into a head cover, put on a putter, any way you want to do it. If you tell them at checkout, RJ Young, you get 10% off of your purchase. And when we're talking about $600 putter, that's like $60. All right? It's worth it. When we come back, we'll talk about the committable offer and one story of a high school coach who ain't going to let Alabama come into his place. And that is awesome because of the story behind it. We'll be right back. This is RJ Young on Fight Me in the Animal.